right, let's get an operator in here and set the loop envelope to loop. Now if we switch to the arrange view and zoom in so that it says 1/8 here, and select one block, one grid size. If you look down here, you will see the length of that eighth note in milliseconds, right? 250. So going back here, you can set the decay to 250 milliseconds and take the sustain all the way down. I'll make a note here. Make it a bit longer. So if I turn the time down here, this parameter is deciding how long it will take from the end to go back to start again. As you see here in the info view, it says the time it takes to move from the sustain level to the initial value is defined by this parameter. So if I turn this down, we will get a loop from here to here that will be 250 plus 0.2 milliseconds. And that's, by the way, the lowest value that the time goes to. So I think that's going to be too fast for us to say that it's not going to be 8 notes, but let's have a listen. In fact, let's load a kick in there so that we will use this as our metronome, effectively. Take the decay down. It's a bit more inspiring than this sound. Right? 8 notes, as good as. Maybe a very tiny bit of drift. But okay, with that established, that means that putting 125 here will give us a loop of 375 milliseconds. And 125 is also half of this value, which would make this a dotted 8 note instead. So let's verify. Correct. So let's set values for all of these different times so that we can start with this one. Maybe make it 16th. Maybe make it actually 8ths, why not? Well, let's have these run parallelly. Let's choose this algorithm. All right, third one, let's set this to maybe quarters. All right, 375 plus 125 makes 500. Take this up maybe there. So we have a quarter note, we have an 8th note, we have a dotted 8th note. Let's do a dotted 16th too, so we have two, whatever you will call them, and two dotted, 2 straight ones and 2 dotted ones. What did I say here? Dotted 16, which is 125 plus half of that, 62.5. Let's fade this in. All right, pretty nice. Take the filter off. Now we can of course also adjust we can adjust a bunch of things. We can adjust the sustain. And we can create some groove or swing in here as well. And there are a few different ways to do that. The first and the most obvious might be to just change the BPM. All right, so if I hit play, I will arrow down a few BPMs as we're listening, and you will hear it start drifting a little bit. pretty drastic already, 4 BPM slower. And the same is true to the other side, of course. Next would be to play with this time parameter, higher values. The way this works is that it affects all time-based action inside of operator. So higher values make them slower, lower values, negative values make them faster. So I'm going to do the same thing, arrow up and down while we listen. All right, then all the way up. It's in sync again. So that means the half of that and half of that. Right, but that just changes the, it just cuts the time in half or doubles it, doubles the speed. So that's not, we're looking for groove and swing. So the third, sorry, just to finish that. So that would be just a few percentages up. Or of course, instead of going full 100, you might go 98. Sure, just want to make sure that I covered that. My favorite method, which gives a finer degree of control, is to adjust the millisecond value on all of these. So we can, if we listen to the first one on its own, we could increase it. Let's say 127 and here 254. Let's listen to that. Let's maybe create a bit of a variation here. You hear it drifting off slightly against the kick, right? So we can do it on, if we start doing that on the next one too. So this one we made a little bit longer. All right, let's make this one a little bit shorter, maybe 122 on both. Put this one back on 125 because it got a bit drastic already, and we're only halfway there. So let's add the third one, maybe. So this one we lowered, this one we can increase maybe to 380. Right, so that's kind of nice. If we set this now, if we send this to a the default delay that gets loaded into the default project when you open Ableton, which is a dotted eighth, so a straight delay or a dotted delay without without any modulation on the tempo, right? It gives a pretty nice. Adds a lot of rhythmic interest quite quickly. Now, if we take down the sustain, and maybe change the algorithm, we can listen to all of them. right? And we can work in the attack into this maths here as well on the, let's do it on the third oscillator. So let's say, well, 125, 62.5, 32 and 25, 32.25. I think that's pretty nice. Let's take this down an octave maybe. Maybe take this ping pong off. Oh. And another cool trick, which could add a bit of rhythm as well, although it's not necessarily related to what we did here. I just think it sounds very nice, is to take this one, set it maybe to stray or triangle, turn down the rate a lot, maybe the depth, and map this thing, the frequency, the oscillator frequency to the velocity value. Set this to the LFO, and it sounds like this. We can do that with the others too. Again, let's try another algorithm. Let's set the attack of the first one maybe to 62.5. So endless possibilities really, and what's cool is that these are just a bunch of sine waves running into each other. There's no additional distortion going on. There's not even a filter engaged. It's just running into a very simple delay that doesn't color it either. Was there anything else? Yeah, maybe we can try the multi-map thing. The issue with this is that sometimes it crashes the project, but I feel like I want to take the risk. So what we'll do is to actually map the sustain on all of them, all of the envelopes of the oscillators. Right? And we have 4 more, so why don't we do the... Oh, no, I don't want to do the attack. We'll leave it at that, I think. Maybe the levels? No. We can do another one with levels, so that we get individual... No, let's not do that. I think we can... We can do an LFO on the levels, why not? Synced to something like that. We don't have to do all the levels either. We can do 2 of them. That one and that one. right, I'm getting carried away here. So to sum this all up, RHYTHMIC sound design inside of Operator, just some simple delay. Yeah, have fun. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.